Welcome to the Count Stackula channel on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching another one of my videos. Today, we are going to talk about the Morgan silver dollar and the peace dollar. And not just these modern commemoratives. We're also going to look at some older coins. Let's get into it. So let's start with the 100-year anniversary of the Morgan silver dollar that came out in 2021. That is what we are looking at right here, and this is the CC Privy version. So whether or not you know, they came out with 6 different coins in this series, 5 for the Morgan, 1 for the peace dollar. And they all have different little privy marks. Some were actually minted in those particular mints, where others were kind of just a commemorative type of release. And all of my Morgans and peace dollars that I purchased, and you can see I purchased quite a few of them, still remain in their original mint packaging. And I was going to get them graded, but after close inspection of the coins, I noticed that, I don't know, to me, they didn't all look like perfect 70s. More like, I was just thinking that I would probably get a majority of 70s, but there would be at least 2 or 3 69s, and at the time, NGC, probably also PCGS, were charging an extra premium to get them graded quickly after the mint release, just because they get so inundated with these types of modern US mint releases. So the issues that I felt were the reason that I wouldn't get a perfect 70 is that, you know, on most of these peace dollars, if you take, you can't really see it with the capsules that the US Mint gives you, because they kind of alter the rim here with the, can't really see perfectly what's going on with the rim. But I noticed that they have this kind of issue where the rim is not equal on all sides of the coin. I think they call that finning. Yeah, so I don't actually think that they take off points for that. However, I just didn't want to risk it and waste my money. And, you know, I was gonna mostly just keep these coins, maybe resell them if they did well. And I mean, they've done all right, but you know, I kind of like them. I appreciate them in my collection, so it's something I'll probably hang on to at least for a little while longer, and then, you know, keep 1 or 2 of them. Having modern coins in a perfect 70, I mean, that's really, I wouldn't want it in anything less. And so it's really disappointing if you can send them off to grading and get a 69, because it's just going to kind of bother you. You might even have to crack them out. Anything less than a 70 in a modern coin is basically a waste of your money, in my opinion. However, the same cannot be said about the older coins, because it is impossible to get a 70 on any of these coins that are hundreds of years old. So what we have here is my collection of Morgan silver dollars, and specifically this is my toned Morgan collection. So we've got a real feast for the eyes, a light show, if you will. So let's take a look. And they're all in different types of holders, and so this one is, I'll let you guess the grade before we go ahead and reveal it. The toning pattern here on the reverse is actually not that attractive. I think if you were to try to send this off to CAC and for green bean, you probably would run into difficulty with this type of toning pattern. I mean, it's got some nice blues and purples, but it's relatively brown and, you know, arguably ugly under the wrong lighting. But let's go ahead and flip her over, cover the grade, and take a look at the obverse, because this is really what I got the coin for, the obverse. You know, and usually it's the reverse that's the more attractive side, but in this case, definitely the obverse. This is what I call a blueberry. So this is an 1886 Morgan in some really nice deep blue shades of natural toning, and you know, you can tell it's natural. It's got these brown spots that are consistent with more natural toning, and you know, you can get a blue shade from artificial toning, but that usually comes from anodizing the silver metal, and it's very obvious when it's faked, and you get kind of like a neon blue, and you don't get these types of interference, the brown spots. But I think they, in a lot of ways, they add to the overall aesthetic of the appearance. So yeah, some violets in there as well. Okay, so we've looked over this coin quite a bit. You've gotten to see that there is a nice luster to it, and my apologies for not taking it out of the plastic baggie, but you know, we've got a lot of coins to go through, so but there's you can get still a very good idea of the luster as I swirl the coin around. And one more look at the reverse to see any chop marks. Got the grade in your mind? All right, let's go ahead and do the reveal. It's a 63, which I think could arguably definitely be an undergrade. I mean, because you look at the cheek, and you know, sure, there's maybe a couple little chop marks on the cheek, but very small, very faint. I think it's in the fields here is the reason why you get the 63 on this coin, or perhaps right over the eyelid you get that nice little gash. But I do find it very fun to guess the grade on some of these coins, and yeah, that's really nice. What's cool also about grading these older pieces is you really got to get out the loop and see what's going on in there to get a very good perspective of a grade of a coin. I think this thing has a light on, maybe I'll turn it off, but yeah, those details kind of come out a little bit better. You can guess the grade just a bit better when you have a scope on it. Also, you got to remember to look for any overdates and varieties on all these Morgan dollars. But yeah, so let's move on. We spent enough time on that one, and in no particular order, we have another beautiful Morgan. Now this is part of my tone collection, so the toning would definitely be on the obverse, but we have an S mint mark. And take a close look. This one's a little bit nicer than the last one. There's not a lot of chop marks or chatter going on in the fields or even on the breast feathers. So this is a real nice one. Let's take a look at, oops, I think I may have revealed the grade. Let's see if I can edit that out. Now this is really unique, right? This toning pattern is very unusual. Huge luster bombs going on, lots of varying color we have an 1880S Morgan with just almost unnatural beauty. But it is natural, it's not artificially toned. So, you know, this is one of my prized specimens. You can tell it's definitely a higher grade piece. There's not much in the way of distracting marks, you know, and even some of the subtle marks that you see on the cheek or in the fields there are very faint, like not deep level of scratching. Of course, there is marks there. That's why it's, you know, you're not going to see 69, 68 in this collection, but we're going to get pretty close. Are you ready to check out the grade on this one? It's an MS65. But we don't buy this for the grade. We appreciate this for the color. This is just so out of this world awesome toning that really makes it one of a kind piece, and that's why I like collecting the toned Morgan silver dollars. These are ridiculously expensive, by the way. This is not your bullion, average bullion. Oh shit, I keep revealing the grade. Anyway, here we have a 1881, and again, I don't necessarily collect these in any kind of date run fashion, okay? I'm in it just for the beauty of this collection. It's all about the awesome tone colors, the history, the grade. But we're seeing quite a bit more cheddar on the field, so this is definitely like, you know, it's mint state, but it's going to be on the low end of the spectrum within the mint state coinage. But when we look at the toning pattern, it is pretty phenomenal. So it is in an older NGC holder, whereas, yeah, I haven't really talked much about that, but the nice thing about having these older NGC holders, you may not like the fact that it's not exposing the edge of the coin or whatever, or maybe it's an ugly soapbox kind of holder, and I would agree with you there, except that there is kind of a little bit of a history with collectors in and appreciating older holders, and that's why getting things, you know, certified through CAC, it often will increase the value more than if you were to just reholder it in a modern slab with a higher grade even. So you got to keep that in mind when you are in this hobby. Sometimes cracking it out means losing money. So even if it has a lower grade. But looking at this toning pattern, it's really interesting. These this spotting that's going on across the coin and over here often happens from being held in canvas bags over long periods of time, situating itself up against the edge of the bag where air would get to the coin through the bag and would leave this type of toning on the coin. So again, this is you probably saw the grades. It's a 62. It's an 81S. You know, 62s typically don't go for much, but if you've got toning like this, it is definitely going to go for a much higher premium. And let me know down in the comments which one is your favorite. So I'm gonna definitely try not to reveal the grade this time. All right, so this one's in a PCGS holder. And you'll note that this box that I 3D print, that's available in the links down below, it holds old NGC holders, old PCGS holders, all in one. It's a one size fits most, with just one exception. It doesn't fit Rattler coins, although I suppose I could make an adapter. I think someone already, actually my buddy Borup already makes those adapters, if you're interested. And but I do also make Rattler specific boxes for those who collect those older holders. So we don't have a mint mark, but take a good look at this coin. It's got some frosting, some good luster, light toning on the edges, and but it's in great shape, and that's pretty common for a reverse. So let's check out the obverse. What a stunner. This is magnificent. I think we have a winner here. This has got to be one of my favorite pieces in my collection, my 1887 Philadelphia. It's got that rainbow ribbon at the bottom, and then the top is this metallic blue, light metallic sky blue with hints of pink and other colors in it. It's really just a color bomb. I can't say a whole lot more about how much I love this coin, how much I love these Morgan toners. They are totally addicting. You gotta watch out with these. They will definitely cost you, make your wallet pretty angry, and most of the time you can't get them unless you're going at an auction, or the fixed price listings are ridiculously high. So you know, auctions are actually your best bet, but you know you're gonna be bidding against other collectors that are willing to pay stupid amounts of money to get these rainbow tone Morgans. As they say, the Morgan is the king of the collector coins. Okay, so I think that's plenty of time for you to decide on what you think the grade is, and so let's go ahead and reveal it. We have an MS66. Anybody guess MS66? Anybody guess MS66 green bean? Yes, this one's been to CAC. So it means that it is a solid coin for the grade. And I definitely would agree with that. I would not say it's a 67, but it's a solid 66, and it's a beauty. All right, so here we have an older PCGS green holder, second generation green PCGS holder, a nice looking reverse, but again, we're here for the other side because that's where all the beauty is at on this beauty, on this specimen. Here we have another luscious it's kind of like a cat's eye. It would be a cat's eye if there was a ring, you know, a ring here on this side. So it's not quite a cat's eye, but it's definitely a crescent, but it's a crescent monster is what I would define it, because you know it's the entire coin. The entire coin is toned. This is another good opportunity to talk about types of toning, types of natural toning on coins, and when you have toning throughout the entire coin on at least one side, that is considered a monster. It's definitely got a crescent, so that it would be called crescent toning, but it also has this like almost 24 karat gold plated look to it, but it's not gold plated. That's all toning. So this is really interesting looking crescent. And I've seen this pattern on other coins before, so it is very common, or at least it's somewhat common and somewhat natural. Not maybe very common, but if it were a little bit more orangey and splotchy in its appearance, it would be called a fireball, maybe a fireball crescent, but because it has that color. All right, so we got the grade in mind. Best guess, let's go. MS64, green bean. And yeah, she's a looker. I mean, it's definitely no detracting spots. And whenever you see that CAC, you know you're gonna get something that has just a lot of eye appeal and no ugly carbon spots or distracting spots. That's why you don't send everything to CAC to get certified. I actually didn't send any of these to CAC to get certified because I don't have a subscription. But maybe one day. Yeah, no, I don't have deep enough pockets, I guess, for CAC. Although their pricing is very favorable. I think when they come out with their new grading platform in next year, or whenever it comes out, it should be very interesting to see what you know, types of changes will take place within the graded coins market. Whether or not, you know, people will prefer CAC grading over CAC stickers. The CAC stickering has definitely gained a foothold in the market, and with good reason. I guess now's as good a time as any to talk about why, but mainly due to the fact that often coins are undergraded or overgraded in the past. And if you're astute enough to research which coins you have a better chance of being upgraded or downgraded, or if you train your eye enough to find out the for yourself whether or not a coin can be upgraded, you can definitely make money in the crackout game. So this is really really nice. This was actually my first toner Morgan that I picked up, this 1885, and 1885 is a pretty common year, especially common for toners. But this pattern is pretty special. I think it's got a lot of deep purples and teal and really nice colors that people who hunt down toners, they go for this type of toning. You'll find often it comes at quite a premium. It is, I suppose, terminal toning is what you would call it, because it's kind of this line, the terminal line that goes across the coin. And but it's nice. I like how the toning is at the eye level of the Lady Liberty there. So that should be plenty enough time to get your grades in before we do the reveal. Maybe you've already seen that green bean, so let's go ahead and take a look. Yes, it's an MS64. All right, we are halfway through. And you know what? Maybe we'll make this a part 2. I don't know, what do you think? We got 1, 2, 3, well, we only got 4 more to go. It's getting kind of long, this video, huh? Let's keep going. All right, so we got O mint mark, New Orleans. Get a nice look at that. You know, you have some smaller varieties maybe sometimes going on in a coin, like that mark. It's obviously not a scratch. It looks more like a die crack. You know, things that they don't necessarily go ahead and annotate for every variety. But taking a look at this crescent pattern toner with just eye-popping color, it really stands out. It's an 1883 O, and if you can't already tell, it's full of luster and very few distracting marks. So you know you're dealing with a high-grade Morgan, a high-grade specimen here, and especially with this rainbow, this is like a unique crescent, I think, because, you know, a lot of times you'll get crescents that are just black, like they've been toned too long, you know? They went through their rainbow period, and then right beyond that moment, they just turned dark. This was obviously caught at the right moment to retain the color at its pretty much most vibrant state, and that's what we have. We have all these deep, rich neon colors. Okay, got your grade. Let's take a look. Yeah, 65. I think you can tell it's definitely better than a 64. It's got so much clarity in the fields, and no scratches in the cheek, you know, and so much eye appeal that, like, if they're not giving it a color bump, I think the coin is easily a 65. With sometimes, you know, you get a color bump, they might give it a 65 plus. I think this is definitely a potential for 65 plus. Probably the reason why they didn't is the distracting mark on the ear and the cheek there, which look like kind of dirt. It's probably dirt or toning, and that is the only reason why this coin was maybe held back from a plus or a 66 designation, in my opinion. Moving on, we've got another NGC holder. So Philadelphia, a few more chop marks, bag marks, your typical stuff with Morgans. Let's go ahead and take a look at why I love this coin. Yeah, let me just go ahead and cover the. Yeah, look at that. This is, it's kind of like a fireball, but it's got a little bit of blue in there. But, you know, the overwhelming majority of the coin is this beautiful, lustrous, yellowy orange, and it almost looks like it's in a cloud nebula. You know, one of those interstellar, heavenly nebulas. That's why I got this coin. This is my 1889. And, you know, being that it had the bag marks on the reverse, the obverse is actually pretty good. Looking at it up close, we can see, sure, there's a few tiny scratches, but I think there's actually more on the reverse. But the color is just so awesome. You got your grade in mind? All right. I think it's pretty obvious at this point, although let's take a look. MS64. Yeah, I think it's definitely a shoe-in for an MS64. I'd say if it had a cleaner reverse, it could be maybe given a plus, maybe a color bump up to, well, yeah, look at that reverse, man. This is what's keeping this coin from going higher, I think. You know, you've got marks up in the fields, over by the wheat and the arrows, and you know, but there's fewer marks here, or maybe it's actually being covered by some of the toning, but you know, it's not bad. The obverse is really something. So that's my 1889. Let's move on to the next coin. Whoops, I think I just revealed the grade. All right, so this one's got some light toning on the obverse. But, you know, a few more apparent bag marks on the cheek. We've got just some nice light toning going on the obverse. But it's in an older NGC holder. Let's take a look at the reverse, and the reason why I have it here in this collection. Yes, this is probably one of the most beautiful crescent coins I own. Looking at that rainbow, it's just so neon in all the right places. To me, it looks like the bird is nested on the rainbow, and it's this blue colored bird, and the sky is like pink during sunset. I mean, it's just this poetry to me. I mean, I love this design. I love this color. It's just out of this world. Beautiful. So, and the reverse doesn't have a whole lot of marks. So, you know, if this was reverse holdered, I think it would benefit from being reverse holdered for sure in a PCGS, or maybe now we can get it graded with CAC. Let me know down in the comments if you think I should get any of these regraded by CAC when they open their doors. Let's take another look at the obverse before we make our conclusion on the grade. Again, I think the obverse is the deciding side when it comes to the grade, because there's quite a few more chop marks. Have you guessed it yet? All right, let's go. It's a 64. I think that's pretty fair. You know, the reverse looks 65, the obverse looks 64, and that's what you get. You get a 64. But yeah, wonderful specimen. Really awesome luster. Okay. Last coin for today. All right, another Philly. Very light toning on the reverse. Not a lot of distracting marks here on the reverse. There is that one on the breast, a little gash on the breast feather. That's probably holding it back quite a bit. Let's take a look at the obverse. Yeah, this is really stunning toning. Now, the color is awesome. It's really beautiful, but it's not as powerful as some of the other coins that we've seen. Like, it's got monster toning. It's got some luster. There are some luster breaks, and you can definitely see some chop marks, no doubt about it. But this is a crazy coin. You look at the marks that we talked about earlier in this video that happened with canvas bags. It looks like Lady Morgan is snorting some stardust. Yes, I bet you didn't know Lady Morgan had a cocaine addiction. Anyway, yeah, this is so awesome. I'm getting high just looking at all these colorful coins. 1888. She's a beauty, and that's why I had to have her. You call this kind of like the dark toning. I can't remember the official, terminology, but it's like the black spectrum of toning, or the darker spectrum of color toning. And so it is a monster, because it's got toning everywhere, every which way, but the most powerful colors are over here on this side, and but there's definitely still some brilliance to it. So if you haven't guessed already, this is a 63. Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. given that it has kind of like a 63 level of marks going on both sides. So I think it's pretty fair grade for it. That will conclude our Morgan toner collection for today. I think this is appropriate, being that it's the holiday season, the Festival of Lights, and I want to wish everyone a happy holiday this season, whatever it is, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, you name it. Have a wonderful holiday season, and thank you so much for watching. This is Count Stackula. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.